What if I told you your student loan was designed never to be paid off? Not because you're irresponsible, not because you picked the wrong major, not because you don't earn enough, but because the system only works if you stay in debt. 3 months ago, I asked a question that wouldn't let go. Why does America have more student debt than most countries have GDP? And the deeper I went, the more disturbing the answers became. Last year, Americans paid nearly $200 billion towards student loans. But the total balance? It grew by tens of billions. That's when I realized something that made my blood run cold. You're not failing to escape your loans. The system is succeeding at keeping you inside them. I followed the money. I read the policies. I tracked who gets paid, when you pay. And what I found wasn't a bug, it was architecture. $1.7 trillion in outstanding student debt. That's more than the economic output of most nations on Earth. Interest payments alone generate tens of billions every year. No classrooms, no professors, no books, just compound interest. Clean, quiet, profitable. The average graduate borrows about $30,000, but over 20 years, they repay more than 90. That's not a loan. That's a subscription to their own financial captivity. So the real question becomes, who profits from this? Let's start with the federal government. They hold over $1.6 trillion in student loans and powers private lenders can't dream of. They can garnish your wages, seize your tax refund, destroy your credit, and there's no bankruptcy protection, no expiration date, no escape. One woman told me, "I paid $40,000 on a $25,000 loan. I still owe $31,000. The government owns me now." Then there are the universities. Tuition has increased over 1,000% since 1980. Not because education improved, but because loan limits did. Every time borrowing limits rose, tuition did too. Because students weren't paying, loans were. So prices stopped reflecting value and started reflecting capacity. They built luxury dorms, expanded staff, upgraded stadiums, all funded by your future. Then come the loan servicers, Navient, Mohila. They don't want you to default, but they don't want you to finish either. They want you in repayment forever. They profit from delay, from confusion, from lost paperwork. Clear communication? That's bad for business. Confusion is the business. And here's where the story turns, from broken to sinister. Because this system isn't failing, it's working, exactly as designed. Take income-driven repayment. You pay based on what you earn. Sounds fair, until you realize your payments don't cover interest, so you pay, and your balance grows. You follow the rules and sink deeper. Forbearance and deferment? Pause your payments, not your interest. A $30,000 loan becomes $45,000 during a rough year. Public service loan forgiveness? A promise, with a 98% rejection rate. One teacher, 12 years of service, every payment made. Denied, over 3 miscategorized payments from 2015. Hope keeps you paying. Paperwork keeps you trapped. And universities? They know exactly what they're doing. I found internal documents. They budget based on your max loan eligibility. They call it packaging. You think you're getting aid. You're being sold debt. They hire financial aid officers whose job is to extract the most possible. And it gets worse in grad school. The average MBA, $167,000 in debt. Law school, $145,000. Medical school, over $250,000. All sold with the same lie: this debt is an investment. But what they don't tell you is that the jobs no longer exist. Law schools graduate 40,000 annually, only 25,000 jobs available. MBA programs exploded, while management jobs shrank. They kept admitting, they kept raising tuition, because more students means more debt. I spoke to a woman with a master's in social work, $80,000 in debt, starting salary $35,000. Loan payment $847 per month. Take-home pay $2,400. Rent $1,200. I wanted to help people, she said. Now I can't even help myself. And when jobs didn't come, the solution was always the same. Go back to school, borrow more, delay reality, let the debt grow, while your degree loses value. And then I looked abroad. Germany, France, Norway, Finland. World-class universities, minimal debt. So why not here? Because free college doesn't profit lenders, debt does. Free college doesn't create 30-year revenue streams. Student debt, that's an annuity. And the most tragic part? This trap is now generational. Parents still paying their own loans, co-signing for their children, grandparents refinancing homes for grandkids' tuition. I met one family, 3 generations in the debt cycle. Grandmother, $23,000, mother, $67,000, daughter, $45,000. Total, $135,000 in family education debt. The daughter just graduated. She's 22. She owes more than her grandmother's house is worth. This isn't education, it's extraction. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. Because here's the truth. The student debt crisis isn't a crisis. It's a business model, and a brutally efficient one. Systems reveal the values of the people who build them. This one converts learning into leverage, opportunity into obligation, dreams into debt. You are not a student in this system. You are inventory, and inventory is valuable as long as it keeps generating revenue. Your debt isn't personal, it's profitable. And until we understand that, we'll keep feeding the machine. Every time someone says, that's just how it works. Every time a high schooler is told, debt is the price of success. Every time a loan gets co-signed thinking it's an investment, we renew the contract of control. Because debt isn't opportunity. Debt is control, and control is the point. This is Greedonomics, where we follow the money until the truth exhales. If this opened your eyes, subscribe, because next week we're exposing the housing trap, how your rent became someone else's retirement plan.